It's very difficult to look at a physical resemblance of somebody who you know who that is exactly, but there's nothing about her that is the same in terms of personality.
It was alarming because she really didn't know where she was or what she was doing, and from time to time did not believe me when I said I was her daughter.
Well, it's very interesting that I find myself in the situation today that really become the caretaker for my dad.
It's devastating. My father had very serious physical problems, had a series of strokes, and we were able to deal with that. We understood that, but to watch somebody who's been an intimate part of your life for 50 years literally transform into somebody different is very, very difficult to handle.
We didn't expect this to happen. Alzheimer's is a very difficult disease to deal with. You see your parent as you've never seen your parent before. Someone that is unknowing, not remembering. All the lives and all the memories aren't there. That's what you've lived with and you've survived with all of these years, and they're all gone.
You don't know how to prepare for it. You can't, and all of a sudden you have, I think, an elderly person to care for. It's almost like having another child.
And what's the name of that place?
What's the name of that place? Well, I know the place, but you know the place.
Alzheimer's disease has been estimated to affect between 40 and 50% of older adults, that is, over the age of about 80, so that it is a very common accompaniment of aging. And there are things that we can, at Waveny Care Center, help teach people to do to try to maintain their mental abilities, to try to prevent this from becoming a significant limitation.
The history of Waveny goes back to the late 60s. David and Dolly Brush and the doctors David and Charlotte Brown were researching medical techniques in third world countries, and one of the things they discovered in Africa was the fact that these tribal villages actually took care of their own, and when someone got sick, they were kept right there in the center of the community, and their friends and neighbors and members of their families cared for them in a very effective way. So one of the key philosophies that marked the development of Waveny was that it would be a community-supported center, one which would be supported financially by the community, and one which would also involve members of the community actively in the operation of the facility. Ruth Lapham Lloyd had given Waveny Park to the town. She also contributed $1 million for the facility.
Doreen is working on a pegboard, which we use in occupational therapy. She has suffered from a stroke, and as part of our rehab program here at Waveny Care Center, one of the main functions is to have people maintain as much independence as possible and to be as functioning as possible so that they can feel that they are truly living to the maximum potential that they have. There's a lot of confusion for families in today's healthcare system, and what we try to do with our care management program is to help families make some decisions without having to make a million phone calls and have all kinds of confusion about all the programs that are out there.
Our objective is to bring the person to their highest level of functioning so that they can feel independent, they can have fun, and they can participate in life.
The objectives of most physical therapy activities are to help the person regain the function if they've lost function, and to also to be able to be as independent as possible and to return to what they were previous to whatever surgical procedure they had or disease process that has affected them.
Waveny is very fortunate to be a part of this community. New Canaan is a very caring community, and that's been proven over the 25 years of our existence. It was founded by New Canaanites, it was financed by New Canaanites in the beginning, and through our annual appeal, the quality is maintained through the efforts of the people of New Canaan. You can see it in the quality of our volunteer program, in the quality of the staff, their longevity. You can see it in the management. You can see it, more importantly, in the faces of our residents. They really feel they're well taken care of here.
The day program enables families to have that needed time off, gives the person more stimulation. They will feel better about themselves.
In the new expansion for Alzheimer's care, we're going to have probably the first program like it in the nation.
Main Street is one of the elements of this project that makes it special. Originally, some of our best research on how older people get comfortable with the movement, we build on curiosity, has really come from the field of Montessori education. And in Montessori, objects and the action that we use when we touch those objects produce behavior and produce thinking. That's a perfect concept for us. So really what Main Street is a lot of mischief in a safe area, familiar, because a Connecticut town or a Connecticut community is very imageable. It's immediately recognizable regardless of your language, regardless of where you've come from.
The Main Street actually has a street. It's an 18-foot wide street. It will be clad in a carpet that looks like cobblestone. There will be sidewalks on each side going along each storefront. There will be storefronts that include a beauty barber shop, a bakery, a ice cream parlor, a store, so that as a resident walks up and down the street, they literally have the ability to walk in and out of stores and have that feeling of freedom that you would get as you were walking down kind of an old town American Main Street.
An individual may approach a little bakery shop for a donut, for a bagel, for schmoozing with the coffee, and suddenly the actions of purchasing, of asking, of being served, of having the aroma, the ceremony, if you will, is what is soothing to that individual.
It certainly evokes a sense of freedom and a sense of individuality, where a resident can walk down a street, they can choose to go into a store, they can choose not to go into a store, they can window browse, they can sit on a bench along Main Street, and they can watch the rest of the residents pass by, as many people like to do. So I think it really does help to reinforce their sense of identity, their sense of freedom, and their sense of individuality.
I guess the term compassionate care is the way I would refer to what Waveny really provides. A lot of that is due to the staff. It's an incredibly dedicated and professional staff organization. But equally important, and maybe more so in the final analysis, is the fact that we've got 400 volunteers from this community that work here every day of every week. They range in age from 12 to 93. They bring the community into Waveny, and they also bring the people out of their rooms and back into the community, which is really critical to making them feel wanted and helpful and contributing, and it contributes immensely to their dignity and to their well-being here.
Waveny here in New Canaan has been such a part of our lives. Waveny Care Center, the mansion, the lawn. We spend much time here as a family, especially in the summer on Wednesday nights, the concerts, and so it's a local place. It's a place in the community. It's across from the high school. My daughter and her friends will come home from school and stop and see Pop-Up and spend some time playing cards with him and drop by. It's more of a community center. I think every community should have their own continuing care center because parents don't have to be so far. It's an extension of our home in our community here.
Until there's a cure for it, more and more of our parents, will need this kind of help. To have supportive community, supportive care like this is, for me, it's like a miracle that this has happened, that she's able to stay here and have such excellent care and with caring people.
Waveny is relevant to many, many people in the town of New Canaan, and all should be concerned that it will be here when their time comes. If you feel that it isn't relevant to you right now, just think about it a little bit and wait a while, because it certainly will be a factor in your life. One of your loved ones will be impacted, and Waveny will be there for you.
There's a parable, interesting parable, about a Himalayan pilgrim who's walking along and comes to a gorge, and he stops to build a bridge, and a cynical village person says to him, "You're too old ever to think about coming this way again. Why are you building the bridge?" He said, "It's not for me, it's for the young pilgrim behind me." And I think that there's a real applicability here. It was a group of my parents' friends and contemporaries who 25 years ago had the vision and commitment to put Waveny here. And as my generation looks forward, I think it's our time, it's our turn to step up and make sure that the facilities that are required for the future, it's very important that we step up now. Because when you need a facility like this, seldom do you have years of planning. You need it now. So if we put it in place, we will have held up their example in our generation.